Welcome to the Explainer. So, we've all been there, right? Those moments that feel, well, completely desperate. Today, we're going to break down a really powerful framework from a sermon by Pastor Feng Jiaxiong that's designed to help us not just get through those times, but to actually turn them around. You know where it starts. It's a feeling we all know way too well. Stress. Life just feels like this constant pressure cooker, with everything pushing in on you from all sides.
In all that pressure, it just leaves you feeling stretched, pulled in a million different directions at once until you feel like you're gonna snap.
And when you're stretched that thin for long enough, what happens? You get completely and utterly stuck. It feels like every single path forward is just blocked.
And that's when you hit it, the darkest feeling of all, what feels like a dead end. But here's the thing. What if that wall isn't actually the end? The framework we're digging into today argues that it's not. In fact, it's the start of a major turnaround.
Okay, so the whole foundation for this idea, it's all built on this one really powerful metaphor from the Christian scriptures, specifically from 2 Corinthians chapter 4.
And this is where things get really interesting. The whole idea here just flips our concept of weakness on its head. It basically says, our fragility, it isn't a bug, it's a feature. So think about it like this. We're the jars of clay. We're breakable. We crack. We've got limits. But, and this is the key part, we're also made to hold a treasure, an incredible power that, as the text says, comes from God, not from us. Get it? The cracks are actually what lets the light shine through.
Okay, so that's a great metaphor. But how do you actually use it? Well, the framework gives us a super practical tool, an acronym, GRIND. This is step one. This is how you hang in there when you feel like you're being worn down to nothing.
It breaks down into 5 key steps. First, get rid of labels. Then, reframe your thinking. Idle with purpose, we'll get to that one. Find a new lens for a new perspective. And finally, don't take it personally. Each one of these is like a deliberate mental shift to pull you out of that despair.
And here's how that actually plays out. You're dealing with all these negative labels people or you put on yourself. G, get rid of them. Stuck in that negative thought loop. R, reframe it. Totally burned out. I, idle with purpose. That just means you have to intentionally rest. Feeling trapped? N, find a new lens. And that feeling that the world is out to get you? D, don't take it personally.
And really, it all boils down to this one crucial mindset shift, summed up perfectly in this quote from the source. Destiny didn't single you out. The whole point is, hardship isn't some personal attack. It's just part of being human.
Right, so GRIND is your survival kit. It's how you get through the crisis right now. But what about after? After you've gone through the grind, you've got to build back stronger. And that's where the second framework, RISE, comes into play.
Here's a good way to think about it. Grind is like your emergency response, right? It's all about reacting to that external pressure. But Rise, that's your long-term game plan for building real internal strength.
So, Rise is built on these 4 pillars: roots, identity, spirit, and endurance. And the sermon uses this great image of a tumbler toy. You know that thing you can knock over but it always pops right back up? It's because its core is weighted. That's what this is all about.
Let's break it down. R is for your roots. That's your core beliefs, your solid foundation. I is your identity, knowing your purpose, which makes you flexible instead of brittle. You can bend without breaking. S is for spirit, your faith system, the thing that acts like that heavy weight, always pulling you back to your feet. And that all leads to E, endurance. That's the result. It's the grit to just get up, again and again.
Okay, so we've got the GRIND framework for survival and the RISE framework for building strength. But that brings us to the big question, the central point of all this. Where does this ability to actually reverse desperate situations really come from?
Well, the core message here really pushes back against that whole pull yourself up by your own bootstraps idea.
Instead, it says that real, lasting resilience, it's not found in your own strength at all. It's found in your reliance on a power greater than yourself, specifically, in this context, on God. And just like that, we're right back where we started, with that jar of clay. The logic flows perfectly. We're fragile, we're the jars of clay, but we're holding something powerful, a treasure, and that power isn't ours, it's from God. So the focus has to shift. It moves away from our temporary struggles to something unseen, something eternal. Our weakness isn't a flaw to be fixed, it's actually the very thing that creates space for a strength that's way beyond our own.
So this whole framework really leaves us with one final big question to chew on. What is the unseen reality that gives you hope? It's a challenge, really, to look past what's right in front of us and think about where our strength truly comes from, especially in those moments when we need it most.